Hey, this is Agent Davis, and we're about to take a deep dive into Squeeze. Stay tuned. Hey,
Hey, what's up, man?
what's up, skeptic Agent Alfonso, sir?
Alive and in the flesh with only 2-inch fingers or 3-inch fingers, not 10.
Not that we're counting.
No, no, not at all. This isn't a contest.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to the episode Squeeze. What'd you think of this episode right off the bat, Animal?
Oh, I'm excited,
Alfonso?
man. Oh my God, it was like a mini horror movie in the middle of I don't know, it's like kind of like in those like Animorphs books that you read as a kid where you're like focused on the main story, but then you decided to go to like some other different page and go into like something else, but then you're still coming back. Dude, this was
Yeah.
fun. This was really fun.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it's the first official Monster of the Week episode,
Awesome.
and we got some stuff to dig into, man. So, you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. Let's do this.
Okay, bringing up the notes. I didn't send them to you this week because I didn't want you to know nothing.
You know what? I was gonna ask, but I figured that was your goal here.
Yeah, I took care of this week's notes and next week's notes. That's
Yes.
neither here nor there. I like to stay 2 weeks ahead.
Beautiful.
So let's start off. IMDb user score is 8.7 for this one. If I'm not mistaken, that's the highest of the three we've done so far.
Oh wow.
Original air date September 24th, 1993. How's that for you?
It's crazy. It's just like weird. Like so obviously when I make the title cards, I have to look up the date. That's all I look at. So I'm very tempted because the Wikipedia information.
Everything's right there.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I won't look at it. But just like to think about like what 1993 was and where we were at in our lives, and just this was already going on. Like this just makes you respect that show so much more.
Yeah,
It's
it
way
really
ahead
is
of its
cool.
time.
Like when you like piece it together with your life, like for us, I'm a mid-30s dude.
Mhm,
You're in the same ballpark.
mhm.
And God, I must have been kindergarten, first grade,
Yep. Yep.
second grade tops.
Mhm.
And while this shit was going on, I remember they had like a little book that in fifth grade I read it. It was for this episode. It's like an X Files little. I guess it just goes through the story, but like I remember reading it in fifth grade, and like this is pretty iconic episode for this show.
No way. So like they had their own like set of books with this?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many there are, how many whatever it was, but it was just like a little thin novelization of like this episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's it's been with me for quite some time.
Did you read all your fucking books and you got your little fucking book it pizza party thing?
That's what it was. I'm sure it was. Yep. I forgot all about those, dude. Hell yeah.
Hilarious.
That's back this is back when I was all up into Goosebumps and shit probably.
Oh, absolutely, man.
If not like right before it.
So
So
sweet.
maybe this is what kind of set me on my path.
It could have been. Huh.
Supernatural.
There you go.
So some of the details from this episode we got directed by Harry Longstreet. That can't be a real name. But I didn't put this in my notes, but it says here on Wikipedia production of Squeeze was problematic. Creative differences between Longstreet and the crew led him to being replaced as the director. So they ended up going back and just filming some post production shit. So just to bring that to everyone's attention, that's why that name kind of threw me off when I saw it was directed by Longstreet. Didn't recognize it at first, so
Yeah.
yeah, some usually don't really hear about any problems with like TV that I ever heard of.
No, never. But that just
Creative
goes to show
differences.
you.
Yeah.
This is such a big blockbuster primetime slot. You know what I mean? A big show. Obviously, we're only 3 episodes in, but there's a lot of money
Hmm.
obviously that went into this show.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm assuming like your budget's like you gotta spread that shit out through the entire season. So it's
Mhm.
kind of crazy where you gotta probably pick and choose like where budget goes for each episode.
For
I'd
sure.
imagine. Maybe I'm completely off base. I don't know. Maybe someone smarter will tell me. So this episode's written by Glenn Morgan and James Wong. Now they're pretty important to this whole X Files starting off everything. They're pretty big names in here. So I want to give you some background on them.
Okay.
So Glenn Morgan is an American television producer, writer, director, most recognized for his work on the X-Files and the Final Destination franchise. Morgan
Oh,
has worked on many other projects, including Amazon's Lore, New Line Cinema's Willard.
nice.
2017, he was the executive producer on season 11 of the X-Files. He also serves as executive producer on the Twilight Zone reboot by Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions.
Hmm.
So that seems like a lot of shit going on, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive resume throughout all the years, you know?
Yeah, so I'll give you a background on a little bit more. He wrote on so his filmography as a writer is The Boys Next Door, which is 1985 with James Wong. Trick or Treat 1986, he was uncredited. Final Destination in 2000 with James Wong and a gentleman named Jeffrey Riddick. He's also written for the One, which is 2001 with James Wong again. I'm assuming that's that Jet Li movie from back in the day. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
I do.
I didn't look it up. I
Yeah.
didn't care that much, but I think that's what it is. And we got Final Destination 3 in 2006 with Wong, and
Okay.
he's done those X-Files episodes. And as a director himself, he's done Willard in 2003, Black Christmas 2006.
God,
Uh,
that was a terrible movie.
yeah, yeah, Final Destination 3, and yeah, just the new X-Files stuff that's been going on.
Nice. That's
So
so
that's
cool.
yeah, that's Morgan. Do I have anything written down here other than that? He has a brother that's gonna start writing on this on the X Files coming up here too. So I think I added that somewhere in here. Oh, yeah, we got a bunch of shit in here. So let's go to James Wong, man.
All right.
He is a Hong Kong-born American television producer, writer, and film director. He directed and wrote episodes for the X Files and Millennium, which is Lance Hendrickson. You said you didn't remember that show, right?
Mm-mm, not at
Yeah.
all.
So it was about 96 to 99.
Okay.
Lance Hendrickson's the lead. More like I want to say that one was more demonic instead of the alien kind of sci-fi
Hmm.
thing. But he's written for that American Horror Story. And let's see, he is the founder of Hard Eight Pictures. He is the co-creator and co-writer along with Glenn Morgan of Space Above and Beyond. And like I said, he's done all that shit with Morgan. So this team, as part of the initial production as part of the initial production crew on the X Files, Wong was among the most influential writers producers who worked closely with the X Files creator Chris Carter to define the characters, plots, aesthetics of the new series. And Wong's responsible with his lifelong writing partner Glenn Morgan for introducing a number of elements that define the X Files throughout its run.
Huh.
So that's yeah, pretty pretty significant of shit going on in the early episodes with these two.
I would say so, man. Holy shit.
Like I feel like a lot of it comes from these two and Chris Carter, basically.
Hmm.
Da, 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 da. So, man, I could get into a lot of the episodes that they've done, but I might as well just save them for you. Why ruin anything? Da, 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 da. Yeah, I should probably save a lot of this for going on. But I think he won an Emmy for one of these episodes that he directed. In
Really?
his directorial debut, Wong directed the episode Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man, which received an Emmy nomination, also becoming the first member of the series' regular writing staff, besides Chris Carter, to direct an episode, as well as the only person of color to ever direct an X Files episode. Wong's Emmy nomination made him the first Asian American to receive the Emmy nomination, and no Asian American or Chinese person of that descent has been yet nominated for an Oscar for directing a film. So that's pretty
It's pretty
cool.
badass. Yeah, hell yeah. This Smoking Man one, how far is that ahead?
It's a few seasons.
Oh,
I
okay.
forget exactly which one, but yeah, that's it's gonna involve the lone gunman and all that stuff. So we got a lot of shit to get into
Okay.
before we get to there. But so let me see. Guest stars for this episode, obviously. Who do you want to touch on first? You want
I
to touch upon the asshole?
Yeah, let's just get it out of the way now.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's how you say his name. Donald Logue is Agent Tom
Boo.
Colton. Everybody knows this guy.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I've ever seen him in was probably Blade. I'd have to say the first Blade
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
He just plays the same guy. Same guy in
Yep.
everything he does. But yeah, he's the rival agent. Obviously knows Scully, but we'll get into that as we go on. And the other guest star for this episode is Doug Hutchinson. And I would say his most obvious stuff would probably be Green Mile,
Yep.
and he's the is he the brother of is it Jigsaw in
Oh
the
yeah,
Punisher thing? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Punisher Warzone. Yes, 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 yes. That guy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, funny, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we should touch upon this or not, but that dude got in trouble for marrying his 16-year-old cousin. Do you ever hear about
Ooh.
this?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Okay, I added it in here just in case.
Nice.
I guess it's something to bring up just in case.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, in 2011, he married his third wife, Courtney Stodden, in Las Vegas. He was teaching her an acting class, and that's how that started. The relationship grew controversy and criticism as she was 16 years old,
Hmm.
and he was 34 years her senior.
Jesus Christ.
So, because of that, his agent quit. His family disowned him. He received death threats and was labeled a pedophile by people. And apparently, the chick's mom kind of came to his defense, praised him for his kindness and love for which he treated him with. But yeah,
Hmm.
he
Huh.
these two even started in like couples therapy, like him and his 16-year-old bride on VH1.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. So they kind of
Jesus.
broke up. They got back together. They had a there was a miscarriage involved. After that, they broke up, got back together. So I mean, I don't know, dude. This shit was crazy.
That is pretty crazy, and it's weird that VH1 would be complicit in like showing support for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, so all this shit, like, they gotten back together, divorced, and all that shit within since 2011. So, like, even like what today is she probably or I'm assuming she was born in what 95,
Mm-hmm.
so that'd make her 16 in 2011 plus 9. Yeah, she's only about 25 right now.
Crazy.
So imagine going through all that shit.
I couldn't. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I thought it was worth bringing up. I don't know.
Yeah, just to be brought back up on a fucking podcast.
Yeah, let's relive those memories, huh?
Right. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
otherwise, that's it.
Okay.
Everything else is trivia. So, are you ready to dig into this episode?
I'm ready. Let's dig in, man. I'm excited to share some things with you too.
Oh, okay. As before, just interrupt me anytime you got anything to say or add.
Got it.
So we start off in Baltimore, Maryland, basically from the perspective of a sewer drain, where
Hmm.
a humanoid creature with yellow eyes watches his next meal. We kind of following his little. I called it Eagle Vision from like Assassin's Creed. He just locked in
Yep.
on this one guy.
Yep.
So we follow this guy to his office. It appears to be after hours. He makes a phone call to his wife, goes out for coffee, and that's when we see the register on the wall start to unscrew. And as the man comes back to his office, he's immediately attacked. The struggle, the door gets smashed, then the bloody body, and we see the killer go back into the register, and then we hit the opening credits. So
Nice.
how was this opening scene?
Dude, it was really intense. Like, I mean, obviously you're watching the show and you don't really ever know what's going to happen. I'm just kind of at that point, 3 episodes in, like,
Mhm.
you know. So he goes back in, and like immediately that door fucking slams shut. You see his like obviously the weight of his body crushing up against that window, and the blinds getting all fucked up, and then you see the little door jiggling, and then boom, just that
Mhm.
fucking door just cracks. So you can imagine like that pounce, like
Yeah.
at the ready, man. It's like fucking A,
Yeah,
dude.
it's either that or how cheap are those doors.
Right?
But
Got to
yeah,
keep out somehow.
starts off strong, I would say.
Yeah,
Probably the strongest one yet.
absolutely. And most impressive because I like seeing the screw go back into the register, not the turning, but the just the perfect.
Yeah, nice that he was able to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, luckily those screws don't fall out of the holes; they just stay there.
He's like, God damn
Yes.
it.
All right, so let's see. From there, we get we're in DC, and Donald Logue's character, which is what Colton, John Colton, one of the two. He's not important enough to really remember. So,
Boo.
obviously, him and Scully have a past. Maybe I think it was they went to school together. They came up together in the field. I wrote immediately like he's pretty butthurt talking about other people's successes and how he's so driven to get up the ladder. Basically, is that kind
Yep.
of what you pick up to?
Yep. This guy is hell bent on getting information from any source to bring himself up to a higher level. That's for fucking sure.
Like immediately, like he brings Scully into like obviously he wants her help, but he also wants Mulder's help, I think, and he just doesn't want to admit it, or maybe I think Mulder has a reputation for obviously being very good at what he does. He's just in these X Files,
Right.
and I he doesn't respect him, but I think he also knows. like Mulder knows his shit.
Yep, he needed him. He needed him, and he would have done anything he could have to.
Otherwise, you just said don't bring him at all.
Yeah,
But he,
exactly.
he's obviously open to the fact. So,
Yeah, because didn't he like allude or like said something like, "Oh, if you want to let your
oh
friend
yeah,
know," yeah,
yeah. Immediately, he refers to Mulder as spooky.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. We need it. I wish. God damn it! Like that's the hard thing about not knowing these episodes, because I
Mm.
would have definitely put a spooky counter like in the corner. So I
yeah.
couldn't have said this fucking word in
Off the
this
top of my head, I want to say at least 3 or 4 times
easily,
that
easily.
I remember.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he brings the case to Scully. There's 3 murders so far. It began 6 weeks ago. Um, Random age. It varies in age, race, gender. No known connections. The only determining factor is the point of entry. Well, that there's a lack thereof. They can't figure it out, and that all the victims are missing their liver,
Hmm.
which is interesting. Oh, there was all the livers were ripped out, but with no cutting tools. So that was I'd like to see that. I just picture that like his hand like
Yeah.
digging into like somebody's torso there.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty
'Cause
brutal.
right. That's really fucking brutal, man. I
And
mean,
if it was made nowadays, obviously they could get so much more involved with that process or showing that. And I mean, for God's sakes, Hannibal was on TV. Did you see that show at all?
no, I never. I saw the movie Hannibal, and that was enough.
Me and Agent the Missus are
Uh-huh.
watching Hannibal right now, and it's pretty brutal. Just just to think that that show was on TV.
Yeah.
There's so much more they could do nowadays. And
Eh,
also a funny fact: Gillian Anderson's in a couple of the episodes we saw in
oh, is she
Hannibal.
really?
Yeah, so
Nice.
add all in together.
That's funny. You're like, hey, we're doing something. I gotta tell you about this.
Yes,
That's fun.
exactly.
Huh.
So let's go. I put Mulder gonna Mulder. I don't even know what that means. So after that we basically cut to them in the office, Mulder, Scully, and then Cotton shows up. And let's see. Mulder conducts his office investigation. Obviously, Colton just kind of comes up cold shoulder to Mulder and doesn't really give him any respect. Shakes his hand, but you can tell he's not really feeling it.
Mhm.
And he makes a dickhead kind of comment. And then obviously Mulder with his little sense of humor, he makes a comment about the green men, and
Mhm.
Mulder's like, nah, the gray men, and he gives him
Mhm.
this bullshit story, just fucking with him.
Right.
And he didn't find that funny at all, did he?
No, no, not at all. But you got the idea. You know what I mean? It set it up.
Yeah, like he's been through this enough. Like he knows like the reputation he has. He just kind of goes with it in stride, which is really endearing to me.
Right.
I think it's
Nope.
awesome.
I dig that. He's doing this for the greater good, man.
Yeah, so we cut camera, go off, and Mulder I guess finds paint scrapings maybe
Hmm.
right underneath the register. Looks up immediately. This is where he finds the fingerprints, and from there, obviously Colton's not believing it. That's a 6 by 18-inch hole,
Hmm.
and basically just kind of condemning Mulder, I would say, right?
Yep. And he's keeping his
It's
cool.
full of shit. Yeah,
Yep, he don't give a shit. He's
ain't
just
buying it for nothing.
yep. Looking around, he's dusting for prints, and bam.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we also get from there. The next scene we see Mulder takes Scully and shows her the X Files that he's had. Now nobody else knows about this except for Mulder.
Hmm.
And let's see, he's got a fingerprint from the 1960s and the 1930s, and a case file that goes back all the way to 1903. And he kind of fills Scully in and all this shit. And from here, let's see, yeah, I got the murder. Basically, these murders are happening every 30 years. There's 5 murders in all.
Hmm.
So we keeping together. All good so far.
All good so far.
All good so far. So
Yep.
then, in this next scene, it's what would you say? Is it a? I'd hate to say it's what do they call it? The violent crimes section? Is that the what Donald Logue's characters?
Yeah, that's what I took from it. Some I don't want to say
It,
like an
what,
SU
what
or
would the
something.
best way to describe it probably be a task force
Yeah.
maybe?
Hmm.
Okay, so Scully gives her a little presentation in front of these guys. Profiles the killer. Says that he's 25 to 35, above average intelligence. Assumes a maintenance worker because nobody could really, obviously a detailed layout of the crime scene, I guess you'd say, right? Blueprints.
Now, at this point in the episode, who do we have narrowed down as our top suspect?
Ugh.
No, not saying seriously from the show, but who we said.
Oh, Mulder.
No, no, Bob Vila.
Oh, we said. Oh, I thought we were looking for Mulder's
No.
prediction here. Yeah, Bob Vila. That's how he stays alive. And is he still alive, by the way?
Yeah, he is, dude. I saw him on one of those like late night infomercial things. He looks good, man.
Good, good, good. Yeah,
Yep.
it must be all those livers he's eating.
Thank you. We'll be back next week with episode 4.
If anybody could take out a human liver with just their bare hands, it's Bob Vila. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But it just made sense at the time because he was bumping all throughout the vents. He knows the perfect infrastructure of a building, knows how to get the the little screws back
Screws in
on.
and out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm thinking with.
So yeah, Scully gives her little profile of the killer. This is where we also learn that the liver possesses regenerative qualities and cleanses the blood. She believes that it is taken as a trophy to cleanse his impurities, whoever the killer is.
Hmm.
Let's see. Killer can't find a victim. She assumes that he will return to the previous site for the emotional high. And I wrote even in here, even the group takes shots at Mulder. Like
Hmm.
some people we've never even like. This is how far like Mulder has reached. Like it seems like every every like bureau of the government knows
Hmm.
of Mulder and his crazy shenanigans here.
Absolutely. He's got
And
that reputation, but he's still on all the like this force, you know what I mean? Like he clearly knows what he's doing.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool because coming up in episodes you'll see how good Mulder is at what he's done, even when he's out as the spooky context.
gotcha.
So that's where we go to the crime scene at 7:15. This is the stakeout, and Scully's in her whatever fucking 90s car that was with the red velvet seats looking like.
The bucket seat in the
Yeah,
back.
you remember that?
Yeah.
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 So Scully hears some noises. She goes to check. She's in a parking garage, I should mention.
Hmm.
So she goes to investigate. Mulder pops out with his fucking seeds in his hands, like, you wouldn't shoot a copper, would you?
Just all cool and casual, just
Yeah,
walking
like he's just
around.
hanging out. Like,
Yep.
like he's not part of the stakeout. He's just like seeing what's going on.
Right.
From there, he says the killer would never come back here. There's no challenging it for him. He's already conquered this building. There's no high for him. But what we come to find out is obviously there's we hear the noises. Obviously, they go to where the vents are. You can hear the guy wrestling around there. Scully calls for backup. Out pops Mr. Hitchinson.
Hmm.
Is that yeah? And then that's when we get everybody together. Let's see.
Pretty
Let's see.
terrifying, by the way. I do want to note that he was fucking pounding in there. And you got to think if that was you in a fucking parking garage alone, basically, you know what I mean? You'd be like, holy shit, get me the fuck out of here.
Yes, like it's definitely off-putting. And then like in my mind, I was like, you hear it like they announce themselves as police officers. Why wouldn't you just climb back up the vent?
Yeah, exactly.
Why like even come out in the
Right.
first place? But
The jig is up.
yes, the jig is up. You got me. So let's see. They arrest him, and we cut to the scene with the FBI polygraph. We find out the killer's name is Eugene Victor Toombs. They ask him. The lady asks him about his job, his school. She asks about the killings. Is he 100 years old? Asks about the Powhatan Mills in 1933.
Mhm.
And the 100-year-old question is obviously something that Mulder had thrown in. Everybody sitting behind the glass is like, "What the fuck is this?" It must be a control question. Just shitting on Mulder at all times. And what does he do? What does he say to them?
Fuck, what did he say?
He's like, "No, I had that thrown in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool,
He owned
cool
it.
as a cucumber.
Yep.
Didn't give a
Yep.
fuck."
Yep. He
And
wasn't.
so what we find out is based on the polygraph chicks, she says he passed A plus.
Hmm.
Nothing out of the ordinary for her. And that's when Mulder's like, nah, questions 11 and 13.
Hmm.
He spiked in his emotions, whatever the fuck they read, however those
Hmm.
read. And
Hmm.
the task force head, the one that's in charge of Colton's like, yeah, I got a reaction when I heard that question. It's fucking stupid. Cuts off the polygraph lady. Don't explain this shit to me. I know exactly what the hell's going on. He says
Right.
basically. And then what do we got from there? Yeah, basically Mulder's just like, yeah, this is the guy. We
Hmm.
know it.
Yeah, he
For
knew
this
it.
the profile, Donald Logue's like, don't worry, the profile's still right. We just don't have the right guy. So they cut him loose immediately.
Right.
And then let's see. Oh, this is where they walk out of the room together, and Scully and Mulder are having this back and forth. And the cool thing is, like, I wrote this quote down. He's like, "You may not always agree with me, but you respect the journey,"
Hmm.
which is, even though you disagree, you're on my side. You're willing to hear what these people aren't,
Hmm.
which
I
is
think.
really cool. And this is also where he grabs a hold of her little her necklace,
Hmm.
which will come into play later. It seemed a little weird at first, right?
It did, yeah, but it's like they focused in on it for that like more than a second. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
what's going on? But
Yeah, you usually don't grab people by the necklace as they're
no,
walking away,
right.
but turns out it's gonna play a bigger part than we realize.
Yeah, I just want to throw out there. This scene was it very much drew you in. You know what I mean? Because for I think for the first time in these 3 episodes, I felt that Mulder really showed his emotional connection that he has with Scully and what he sees. Now he's talked about her credibility before. We're talking about just through the ranks of her professional career. But this was the first time that I noticed that he had said something about her just as a person and like more than just a partner.
Yeah, like even though we may disagree on the means, like you're at least willing to hear me out and we can have this conversation.
Right.
But last week we were talking about Deep Throat and we were wondering like how long these guys have been, since that original pilot episode, how long have they been in this bureau and this thing doing this together? And it seems
Mhm.
like from this episode, it seems like it's been quite a while.
Right.
Maybe it has been a whole year of working together because obviously she's getting the shit for it now too. Like
Hmm.
all these little shots directed at Mulder, being said to her.
Right.
And if you want to come out and get a real job, I'm gonna pull for you. So it seems like we've established a little bit of time here.
Absolutely, and they get more comfortable each episode with each other. Like that,
Hmm.
that at least that on-screen chemistry is really nice.
Yeah. So from there, that's when they go to work with the fingerprint matching system that they got in 1993.
Mhm.
So she obviously one fingerprint. It's its own thing. Like there's nobody with two similar fingerprints, and
Mhm.
that's when Mulder does his little Photoshop thing on the computer and stretches out the fingerprints to get a match. Scully
Mhm.
can't believe this, right?
Right.
Why? Well, how does that work? Hmm. Yeah. And Scully's reasoning, her skepticism here is the idea that it's a father passing down these things to his son. There's no way this guy's 100 years old.
Right.
There's some reason that the fingerprints are the same, some biological reason, right?
Right. This has to be 100% factual for her.
Hmm. So then the next thing we go to is we basically show up at the home of the next victim, victim number 4, and to which we don't see how he's picking these people. I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason to it per se.
Mhm.
If it's I'd hate to say scent because I wrote down here Jeepers Creepers vibes.
Definitely. 100%, man.
Like it's not something I ever thought of before, but
Mhm.
the fact that the killer only comes out every 30 years. I know Jeepers Creepers is 23, but it's so like tit for tat
Yeah.
with me.
Mhm.
Obviously, the creeper goes for every bodily part, whatever
Mhm.
he's missing or needs, he just replenishes that way. This guy's going specifically for the liver,
Right.
and I don't know. You think it has anything? Do you think they kind of jocked this maybe?
I definitely think that there was a strong influence.
Some inspiration maybe,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
It doesn't too
like
much.
it would make you wonder. Like obviously, if the creeper can smell, like there's something there that's drawing him to this victim. We don't see anything distinguishing why he's going after these guys specifically.
No, no, not at all. I think he was just out there looking for a good liver, which is weird though because both of these guys were probably middle-aged or more and overweight.
Yeah, it's like you really wouldn't think of them like as the prime specimen,
Yeah,
or
they were.
maybe their liver's just going into overtime because they're clearly not taking care of themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I guess so. And then obviously, well, what we're about to get into with the second victim is that he was a drinker. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Came home, poured himself a drink.
yeah, like okay, so what's going on here with that? I don't know. And because even Scully, when she was describing the first victim to Mulder, she goes, "We have a 6 foot healthy adult." Like I didn't really look all that healthy. I'm not saying he looked like John Candy or anything like that, but I just thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like I guess in that original victim's office, they're assuming like he would have been able to put up a fight,
Right.
and there'd been some evidence that there's anybody there.
Right.
So the fact that there was nothing, no, it obviously was in a high security building. There's no way to get in there.
Hmm.
That's where you get the register information and all that shit. So
Yep.
for this one, we see him. He's kind of snooping outside at this guy. We see him climb up the house.
Yes.
What'd you think of this?
That was cool. Dude, I was like, yes. Let's
This is
get
where
all
we get
excited.
the chimney scene
Yep. Yep.
and him stretching down. You kind of see it happen in
Mhm.
real time almost.
Yep. And hearing it too. That was cool.
Yeah, the stretching and all that it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So we get that cool chimney scene, and yeah, here's victim 4.
Hmm.
He goes to light the fire. We're assuming like we're gonna catch Toombs in there on the chimney, but he's already in in the house,
Right.
and
Right.
then takes that guy out.
Hmm. Little anticlimactic for the actual kill, I thought, but still cool, like you said.
Yeah, it did that. Like we're just kind of like he tackles him from behind, then we get like a slow mo,
Hmm.
just kind of a weird like anticlimactic. It would have been cooler for him to, in my opinion, it would have
Hmm.
been cooler for him to either reach out of the chimney or just blow the fire out like that little lighting stick that he had.
Yeah.
And then he just like pulls the guy in or something. Like I
Yeah.
think that would have been really cool.
That would have
But
been super sweet.
budgetary restraints, who knows?
Yep. Like you
So,
said, what did you say about the budget for this scene for the kill?
oh Jesus, who knows? He
No,
probably
you
spent
said,
it all on the fucking the visual chimney scene
yep,
before this. Yeah,
yep.
that's where it all went for this episode.
That's all you're gonna
The
get.
the stretching arm, yeah, that's what it
Yep,
was.
yep,
Yeah. They had to lengthen his fingers, so that cost him about probably 50 G's
yep. Absolutely.
in
Everybody at Fox was
1993
like, "We're
money.
working overtime here. We can't do this."
Yeah. So next day we get Colton, Mulder and Scully come, and he's immediately like just closing off Mulder, like, we don't need you here. We need real police work. And so far in this whole episode, Scully's always went to bat for Mulder. This guy, he knows his shit. Your brown nosing ain't gonna get you nowhere here. You're either wanting our help or fuck off, basically.
Right.
So let's see, checks. Yeah, he Colton has this weird like idea. Maybe they're selling these livers on the black market, and he's like, I'll go with anything. I just need something.
He sounded just like him.
he tries to, yeah, he tries to stop Mulder. Scully backs him up again. This is where Colton asks, "Whose side are you on?" And this is where
Mhm.
Scully answers the victim's side, and
Yep.
he's got nothing to say.
Nope.
Fuck
Yeah,
him.
dude. Nope. Nope. Not at all. Not at all. And here's the thing, like with Scully, is that like there shouldn't be a side. She was assigned to this division that Mulder is in. It's not like we're picking team A or team B or team C. You would think you're just as us as being outsiders, you would think that the government like all are together to do this one job, right?
And if
Yeah.
there's one thing we know about the government, it's that they're not together on anything.
Right.
Uh,
We're like,
Yeah,
wait, you guys?
none of these things, like even in real life, none of these people are communicating with each other. The CIA don't talk to the FBI. It's all about the personal stake. Everybody wants their fucking, I guess, 15 minutes of fame. They want the credit. They want to, do all this shit. And you
Right.
kind of see it here in this episode. Like I
Definitely.
absolutely believe like there's assholes like that out in the FBI. It's
Mhm.
probably all the FBI is or whatever. These
Well,
overachieving wannabe motherfuckers. But that's where Mulder gets in. He finds the Tombs prints on the fireplace. Also noticed that Tombs took something,
Mhm.
trophy per se. So the next scene we go, Mulder's looking up the 1903 case. Scully comes in and says Tombs' apartment was a cover. He never lived there. He hasn't been to work since his arrest. Mulder gets the address on 66 Exeter Street, which is from the 1903 case file that he had.
Mhm.
Um, this is where Scully kind of goes with her like, and I wrote down anti Waltons, which is the comment Mulder made. They think their explanation is just this is just this family that's killing people. So
Mhm.
that's her rationale. And then we get the research montage, and Scully finds the officer that worked the 1933 case, whose name is Frank Briggs.
Mhm.
If you didn't pick that up in the episode,
Mm-mm.
so they go to him. It must have been like a retirement home. It looked like, right?
Yep, absolutely. Guy's on his
He
last
kind of walks
days
through.
here.
Yeah, he walks through like his kind of time in as a policeman. Kind
Mhm.
of gives this chilling story. You see all these murders, and you got to be able to go home and play catch with your boy. It's the only way to rationalize like life in that, I guess.
Right,
You got to come home and find the good moments. But something about these killers that happened in these murders that happened in 1933 that just kind of stuck with him. He
right.
explained it as being just even being in that vicinity. This is the Powhatan mill murders. just even being in there at the scene, just felt this chill, like something
Mhm.
physically affected him.
Right.
And he makes a comment like, just all the evil in the world just
Mhm.
must have come into like this creature, I guess you'd
Mhm.
say, a monster, as he put it.
Did you get Frighteners vibes from that scene when they were talking about it?
I didn't, but I could see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we were dealing with apparitions, maybe.
Right.
And let's see. From there, we got the research montage. Yeah, it describes him as being evil. This is where he brings out all the evidence that he's collected officially and unofficially.
Mhm.
So we get a piece of a liver. He even corroborates the story with the trophies being taken, and he has a photo in tombs from '63.
Yep.
How is he looking in '63 there, buddy?
He's looking pretty much the same.
That liver diet working pretty good for him, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And that look that Mulder gave Scully, and he didn't even do it in a condescending way. It was just
Mhm.
like, here we go. Like, this is our case. We've got it. This is 100% our shoe in here.
Yeah, it's like how can you fuck with that, right?
Yeah. Yep. Hmm.
So from here we go into the 103 Exeter Street room, and this is where the opening credits is taken from. I don't know if you've seen the opening credits, like right after Gilly Anderson's name pops up. This is where the
Hmm.
credits, like them walking into that room. So just a fun
Oh,
little fact.
oh, nice. I'll have to actually pay attention to that. It's funny because usually we're catching up as we're watching the beginning. Like we're talking throughout the whole goddamn thing anyway, but
Yeah.
especially during the beginning. I'll have to see that next week.
And then I just I sang the opening credits to you as soon as
Yeah.
they bust in.
Yep. Another multiple times during the episode.
Yeah, it's so catchy. How could you not?
Yeah, right.
So they walk in there. Gillian Anderson's like, well, I should say Scully. I wrote Gillian Anderson for some. Oh, it's because it's after her credits. So she's like, there's nothing here. Mulder's like, it feels he's feeling whatever the detective was talking about. It
Right.
feels cold. Something's off to him.
Yep.
That's where he finds the hole in the wall hidden behind the mattress, and they go down into the old coal cellar where they find a table of knickknacks and paddywhacks, as I'd like to put it. All the old trophies from the
Yep.
victims that they've taken. You got anything to add to this that you've
Uh,
noticed?
it was just creepy. To kind of go back a little bit before they went through the hole in the wall, I was really disappointed by Scully going, "It's just there's nothing here. It's just an apartment." You know
Gave
what
up
I
pretty
mean?
easy, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, oh, okay. So we're not even going to try. And all it took was Mulder to just move that mattress. And maybe we're supposed to be seeing Scully's inexperience with this still so early on. Maybe that's
Could be, but she was the first one down the ladder.
that is true. Yep. She just jumped in. What did she say? Let's find out.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
seemed like fuck it, let's get like
Mhm.
let's let me indulge him so we can get the fuck out of here and do real police work, I guess, right?
Let's go into the rape dungeon so we can go home.
Yes, and I can take a nice hot bath.
Yes. Yes.
So let's see, where did I leave off? Yeah, this is where they discover the trophies. Also, this is where they find the nest, the tombs. Um, this is where we come up with the Mulder's idea that maybe he hibernates, which is why he's able to
Hmm.
last so long. Like maybe it's with all the liver sustains him over this 30-year period.
Hmm.
And let's see. This is where Scully gets snagged, but she
Yep.
didn't just get snagged, did she, buddy?
Mm-mm. No, she didn't. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So let's see, but that we'll save that for later.
Okay.
Then you see Colton calls off the stakeout. Obviously Mulder had people staking out this apartment on Exeter Street. Scully says, "I can't wait until you fall on your." Oh yeah, this is where she has the back and forth with Colton because he busts in like a hot-headed piece of shit and telling him like, "You're wasting man hours. There's nothing there. I'm calling off the man hours. The
Yep.
stakeout's off.
Hmm.
Mulder's on his own. Fuck you." This is where she has the. Was it all you care about is getting to the top? And he's like, "Any way possible," or some bullshit
Hmm.
like that. It's like, I can't wait till you fall on your ass.
Yep. To being that same character in every single thing he's in.
Yep, that's it.
Being
That's
grimace to
him.
us.
Even I'm sure that's how he is in Grounded for Life too, as well, right?
He's less beardy or more beardy in that one.
Yeah. So we cut to the evening time. Scully gets home. Toombs is already waiting outside her car, or like we see her kind of outside, or him outside, kind of stalking her already.
Yep.
Obviously he was the one that took the pendant, the necklace from Scully as she got snagged in the coal,
Hmm.
the coal cellar, as they say.
Yep.
Spoiler alert. And then let's see what we got here. Oh, Mulder returns to the apartments, finds no one's there. Oh, well, what the fuck? Scully calls Mulder. She starts a bath. This is where we see Toombs outside in the little window,
Yep, that
climbing
was
up that,
fucking
climbing up again.
awesome.
Yeah, you
That was
like that?
so cool. I did because you and I have talked about this before. It's like the less you see, the more it draws you in, and all you had to see was the outline because it was one of those like windows, like the blocky windows where you couldn't see
Yeah,
clearly.
I forget what you probably call that. It's not frosted, but it's
Mhm.
definitely it's privacy glass, I guess you'd
There you
say.
go. Yep, that's all you needed to see, and you knew he was there.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of like Resident Evil when like right before you're gonna fight
Mhm.
the liquor in the
Yeah,
police station for Resident Evil
yep,
2, you just see that thing scoot across real quick. And then the less is more approach really kind of works to their advantage in this, I think.
it does. I think so too.
So then yeah, Mulder is oh, yeah, he went back downstairs at the Exeter Street apartment. Back downstairs, he finds where the trophies are Scully's pendant. So
Hmm.
he's like, "Fuck, got to get back to Scully."
Yep.
So Scully's about to fill her bath with some bubbles there, and that's when the bile drops from a register in the ceiling. So
Hmm.
she goes for her gun. Mulder tries to call, but the line's been cut because we see that because there's a shot that says Scully, and
Oh,
it's like the line's not there. Yeah, that's how you know he cut it
yep.
specifically. Like, yeah,
I feel like this was such a post-production shot. Like how oh, let's do this. Let's just show these wires with Scully written on it.
obviously he can't be able to call her because that's
Right.
too easy. So
Right.
and then let's see. And she pulls out the gun. Mulder tries to call. Toombs busts in through the little floor vent there. She
Hmm.
looked at it, but then he busted in as soon as she turned her back. This
Yep.
is where he kind of got him grabbing at her ankle.
Hmm.
I think this is a scene that you said was pretty cool, right?
Absolutely. I fucking loved it, man. It was very horror movie-esque where it didn't necessarily feel like a like an X-Files episode. This was just more like I don't want to say jump scare, but kind of along those lines.
Yes, it will. What would be a jump scare, and we see him like literally like leap through the fucking the vent after she
Hmm.
pulls away from him at first,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool. But
It was awesome.
let's see.
Fucking
Yeah.
gazelle.
Yeah, basically, he flew right through the fuck through there. Yeah, it goes through the floor vent. Mulder arrives just in time. Basically, like Toombs and Scully at this point are fighting on the floor in the bathroom, and he's basically got her hands like above her head with one hand, and he's about to dig into her. He's got the
Yep.
torso open and everything.
Yep.
Just in the nick of time, Mulder pops in,
Yep.
and this is where Toombs makes the break for the window. Well, yeah, well, that happened. Not so much. So they together they kind of wrestle him down. They get the handcuffs on him, handcuff him to the tub,
Yep.
and he's like, "You're not gonna get your quota this year." He didn't shoot him though.
No, that was the perfect ending, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So they got him handcuffed to the tub. They got him. This is where we go to the old police officer who sees in the news
Hmm.
that he's been caught. I would say a tear come to his eye. Is
Yeah,
that what you would say?
absolutely. Yep.
I expect him to just fade away like in just like dust.
This is
Like
wonderful.
that's what was keeping him in this plane.
I'm at peace now.
Yeah, and then we get the scene where Toombs is in the little jail cell, and it's not prison, but it what would be like a criminally insane
Like an
mental.
Arkham.
Yeah, yeah. So he's sitting there with the paper, doing his little licking and the building up his nest.
Yep.
This is when Scully comes in. Mulder's right outside, kind of looking at him, just gazing at him, just wondering
Yep.
what the fuck this thing is.
Right.
Medical examine that Scully had shows that he had abnormalities in his skeletal and muscular system, and he had declining metabolic rates well below that of a deep sleep. So it kind of, confirms the hibernation thing where
Right.
Mulder was positing earlier.
Right.
Mulder. This is where Mulder makes the comment like, people getting bars on the windows, these high security systems, and you got a guy like this, and it's not going to do a goddamn thing for it.
Nope.
It's not enough.
Nope.
Then we close with Toombs getting his meal through this little slot. And then
Hmm.
he just peering at it, smiling, and that's how the episode ends.
I was waiting for him to be like, ah, ha, 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 I
Yes.
do the thriller.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, Now,
Just
obviously, we know it's not going to end here, so
no, no,
there's going to
man,
be
it was
something.
cool. Like the whole like time, like there was not 3 episodes into X Files. There's not been one dead zone of any like episode. Like it's all been interesting. Like it's held my interest the whole entire way through, and
That's good. Like I said, for it being so early in the season and such so early in the series in general, being able to keep people's attention is a pretty
Mhm.
big deal, I think.
Especially mine. You
Yes,
know me.
especially you. I know you get distracted very easily.
I do. I do.
So the fact that you're kind of following along and everything's been good so far, I'm super excited.
Hell yeah. No, I've enjoyed every single bit of it, man.
S- So, any thoughts that you have, like anything you want to share, anything I might have glossed over, or anything
So
you want to add?
so I got my little quibs in. You did say during the episode that he kind of reminded you a little bit of Darth Maul. It was kind of like a mixture of Darth Maul versus
Oh, you said you brought up the Toad comparison.
yeah, I brought up the Toad comparison
I was
too for
like, does
the
that mean you also think he is pretty close to Darth Maul?
yep. I get the vibes like that, but especially like in some of the episode or some of the parts of the episode when they did the close up shots when he was lurking,
Mhm.
the contacts weren't the same. Like there was one where it was more yellow and then the pupils were super dilated. Then in the second kill, I noticed that they were more brown and the pupils were smaller.
Yeah.
It almost kind of reminded me of an episode 3 when Anakin was starting to turn, like his eyes were like all
Oh,
bugged
I
out.
got you. I
Yeah,
got you. Interesting.
very, very good lurks. In the second kill, when he was in the driveway, watching the guy go in the house and then out through the window, I thought that that was really cool. Um, the lurking that he was doing on Scully, like as we had mentioned through the privacy glass, and then just him just plopping right out. I mean, dude, like, like I'm like, there's a window over by me, and I'm just like trying not to like look over there because I'm just expecting him. Yeah,
Don't forget the registers on the floor there, buddy.
I know, right? It's almost kind of like how Mac was in the play in in the Nightman comic, like when he comes up, he's
Yes,
like,
yes.
talking about.
Yeah, classic. That's another one we'll have to do eventually.
Oh my god, we've got the next few years planned out, man.
Yes, yes.
But no, that's kind of really what I wanted to touch base on. Anything about you, like as far as from your standpoint in the series, this was our first little break. Did this still hold up for you?
Yeah, like I still think it's very interesting. Like it's hard to say like how it's going to go out. Like obviously the more we get into, obviously the budget's going to be bigger. There's going to be more things they could do visually.
Yeah,
But for like I said, for so early on in the season and in the series in general, I think that yeah, without this episode, like I don't know how far it would have gotten. Like this is the first one that really kind of establishes like they can kind of do anything they want. It doesn't have to be just these the alien abduction, the big
right.
arcs. It really kind of sets the stage for what the X Files will become and kind of the popularity of it.
Absolutely. Um, it's kind of it's funny because obviously we talk all the time outside of the show and everything, but I wanted to share for on the air was that the goal of this show is to have us go through each episode one by one, do the movies, do anything surrounded by the show, pop culture, entertainment, books, anything that we can get our hands on. My goal would be is if this were to pick up, I would love to take any of the money that we made from this to save up for a trip once we're done with all of this, and possibly go and go to scouting locations from where this was shot.
That would be cool. You want to
Yeah,
go to Canada then?
yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, as long as we're able to get to that point. But I
Yeah,
thought that would be something really cool to kind of close out the show and like go check out. Like, I know we obviously can't do all of them, but if we can go see some like of the most famous episodes to try and go there.
that would be cool. Like I said, it's just a fun little romp for me, just
Yeah.
sharing my love with the X Files, and then just to see what somebody else thinks of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
like I said, you not seeing anything is it's gonna be a cool little experiment for us.
That's awesome. I do notice at some parts of like these 3 episodes in where I'll see you in the corner like and you're like looking at me like when something big happens just to get my
Hmm.
reaction. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. But rankings. How do you feel? How would you rank these 3 for you right now?
So for for the ranking, this is obviously the best one we've seen yet.
Yes,
I would say
absolutely. Yep.
most interesting, probably kept our attention the most. Not that it like we lost attention in the other ones, but
Yeah.
it's just more probably a little bit more compelling.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go so far in this our seasons. We got number 3, the pilot episode. Number 2, Deep Throat, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously Squeeze at number 1. I
Right.
think I'm gonna ask you. Do you think this is an episode that'll end up in the top 5?
It has the potential right now. It just
Is that something you think you're feeling?
I would say at the very least 6. I'd feel more comfortable with 6. I'm not ruling
Mhm.
out top 5, but right there. I kind of use this as a backup.
There's some hitters on this first season, man. Like I said, probably in the mid season we're gonna get to, man, pretty close. We're gonna have two of my favorite ones coming up in the mids here.
Okay,
So,
nice.
oh man, I'm curious. I mean, it's gonna be good shit. Good
I
shit.
can't wait. I can't
Yeah.
wait. Yeah, I would. Yeah, this for me would be number one. Then I would go to Deep Throat. Then I would go with the pilot.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more we
Okay.
got to add, man, the better it's gonna be.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. I can't wait for you to see the first dud.
Oh no. Well, we'll still make it fun.
Yeah. So, are you ready for that trivia, buddy?
Yeah, I am. I am.
All right, so this one, let's do it off. This episode was a deliberate attempt by producer Chris Carter to prove that the show could be about more than just aliens. Let's see. In the episodes, The X Files, Squeeze, and Toombs, two actors played the character of Eugene Toombs. One appeared. So that's a cool little tidbit. I didn't know that before either.
You're gonna have to say that fact all over again, bro. Like it stopped. So you got to go back for me.
Okay,
Character.
so for in the episode Squeeze and Toombs, the two actors, there's two actors that played Eugene Victor Toombs. One appeared as the main character,
Uh huh.
and the other is a contortionist who does all the squeezing in the tight areas that Toombs did.
Oh,
So
that's
that's,
cool.
yeah, that's something I never knew before.
Yeah,
It's a fun little fact for me as well.
that's badass.
So continuing on here, we got this episode contains a very famous shot of Mulder and Scully in the credits that we would see along the years, which is, as I pointed out earlier, obviously in Tomb's Lair.
Hmm.
Doug Hutchison is one of two actors that played the liver-eating guy in episodes two. Oh, so Hutchison is actually a vegetarian, and or at least was at the time. And after filming this episode, he sent a liver of an animal to Chris Carter as a thank you for the opportunity to play the character on X Files.
Oh,
So, yeah, maybe there's something off about this guy, huh?
yeah, it sounds like it. It's like Jared Little sending all that bullshit to the actors in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that, nor do I care. So, the idea for this one, Chris Carter had been vacationing in France with his wife when the series got greenlit, and he had suddenly had to return to the States. But while in France, he was eating a lot of foie gras. I don't know how
Frog,
that's how
frog, wah.
foie gras. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I keep you around. The house is where the investigating officer lives. Is the same house, or is the same filming location as the house of the secretary from the X Files Shadows episode, which will be coming up. The yellow and flower prairie style windows are the indicator. So it's the same
Okay.
house as what's going to be coming up soon.
Okay.
So that's just one of them random set
Nice.
fucking facts. Cool.
Yeah, I like those.
And this is one of the rare occasions where Scully does not wear her gold cross, but another collar. I don't know what the hell that means.
Huh.
It must be. Oh, she has a cross in the other coming episodes, and this one's just her. Yeah, I don't know what you call it, a pendant.
Yeah, locket or pendant or
And then the last one I got for you this week is the biggest inspiration for the idea of this episode was the big grill of James Wong and Glenn Morgan's office. So I guess that's where they came up with the idea of somebody being able to slip in through there. Mix
nice.
that in with Chris Carter's little liver fiasco thing, and then
Yeah,
you got Eugene Toombs, man.
nice, man.
So funny how it all kind of blends in.
Seriously.
You just take these. It's like writing music, man. You just take these ideas and you go with it.
You just piece them together. It could be something beautiful like Dream Theater, or it could be something wild like Dillinger, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, speaking of music, if you or anybody out there enjoys The Truth Is Not Here podcast, JD, myself, and another host by the name of Ivan have a podcast called Wasted Attention. We've been at that now for about 2 years.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
about 2 years. Okay. Talk about music, entertainment, movies, pretty much anything. It's a very much less focused show where we just kind of
It's just random. It's just ramblings.
exactly.
The musings of a not cigarette smoking man.
Yes, there you go. But
But
perfect. No, I can't wait till episode 4, man. I can't wait to see what's next. It's killing me that we can't binge these because of time, but
I know it's it gives us something to look forward to, I guess.
for sure, it's nice to feel something.
But that's all I got for you this week. Join us again next week for Conduit. We'll see how that one holds up, how it
Yeah,
ranks.
can't wait.
And Man, I can't wait till we get into some of these, man.
Yeah,
It makes me want to cut to them.
yeah, exactly. I get it, but patience, young grasshopper.
Patience,
We'll
young
get there. Yeah,
grasshopper. Patience,
got it.
young Padawan.
Sweet. Well, hell yeah, man. Let's
So join us next week for that shit. Like I
mhm.
said, anybody give us your comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas, anything we might have missed, anything we could do better. And Animal, anything else for us? Or Agent Alfonso, excuse
Uh,
me.
no,
Rustin
you got
shows
it.
here.
Right? No, you got it, man. Right on the head. We can be reached at the truth is not here podcast at gmail.com. That will be pulled up here in our closing segment. But we're still working on getting the Facebook and other outlets ready because we just kind of wanted to build up our library here a little bit. And
Hmm.
once that gets going, we'll flood you with all that info.
That's right. We
Yes.
will see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.